Oh, pre-show is the best show.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Evening, everybody. We're sharing cat stories.
Mm-hmm.
But welcome to What's on Joe Mind. As you can see, we've got a special guest in the house tonight. Mark Gerwig is here of Mark II Design. Give a free round of applause.
Yay!
Either I finally made it, or the What's on Joe's Mind podcast is spiraling out of control.
No.
Bottom-
Welcome to the big time.
barrel.
Yeah.
You've been slumping for 12 years. But we'll be back with you after you watch our recently reconfigured opening kick-ass theme song. Stick with us. Seconds shorter, so
Well, I wasn't ready for that.
I was trying to make it as nausea-inducing as possible. Jump cuts and quick pans.
No Star Wipes?
No, I don't have Star Wipes.
Oh,
The
hell.
hope is that someday we'll get to Star Wipes, but I don't have Star Wipes. Anyways, welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
Hey!
Just fair to middling. All right, fair enough. We were
Someone
gone last week.
Someone just activated my printer. Like it's coming from inside the house.
Oh no!
I turned it off for now. Now, if the TV comes on,
That's a whole other set of.
I'm gone. Yeah,
Good luck, kids. Fend for yourself.
exactly.
They're high school age. They should be able to do that by now.
Dude, I mean, not to jump right to the story we told off air, but my kids watched The Ring last night, and we had a hard time getting the DVD to work, which is somewhat ironic given the movie. And then with like 20 minutes to go in the film, it just dumped rain outside. Just dumped. And I'm like, well, yard work's going to be a bitch tomorrow. And then when the movie ended, the rain stopped. And I'm like, man, I just broke both my children. Good night, kids.
But poisoning the future of America, he's the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. It's the Hot Show, Mark Weber. Is that all you've been up to this week, Mark? Is that
Yeah, I mean, I think I already did my bit, right? So, Father of the Year, just send the recommendations in. I'm ruining kids' lives one night at a time.
Again, your children are old enough that this is the role you should be transitioning to. So I'm not.
Yeah, and it isn't like we went from Mary Poppins to The Ring, right? Like
Right.
they've seen, Nope and Signs and some of the smarter quasi horror movies, but. My daughter wants to go see Five Nights at Freddy's with her friend in October, and I said, "You got to prove to me you can watch a horror movie and not be a wreck for a week." And it's the last week of summer vacation, so 'tis the season. So they got to watch The Ring last night. A good time was had by all. I kept saying, "Hey, why don't I go turn off the light in the kitchen?" Because it's kind of an open floor plan here, and that would make it really dark on the main floor. And there were neither one, not even my almost 17-year-old son was like, "Nah, we're good. I think we're good." All right, fine.
You see him in the bottom left. He is counting down the days until we have G.I. Joe comic product to talk about. It's Rack Time Rob.
What is it, October? November?
I don't know.
I think November is when the Larry Hama book drops again.
It's been a minute. I forget. Can't ask me to keep details straight, especially after a week off. I mean, granted, it was a week off for the rest of you. It was not a week off for me. I still had to produce crap.
Sucker.
Somebody has to fly that moon chariot across the sky.
Right. Somebody's got to earn us our $3 in ad revenue for the month. And in the bottom right, our special guest tonight. Here from the glorious Mark II Design compound in scenic, I don't know where.
Denver,
Colorado. Denver, Colorado?
Yeah.
All right, because there's a Denver in other states. You're not
I didn't say Springfield, at least.
I mean, not really, right? Like,
There's a Denver, Texas that has an airport. There's a Denver, Indiana that 6 people live in.
Woohoo!
You know, there's other Denvers. But we'll have to get you together. We'll have to have you rumble with Troy McKee to get to figure out who the true third-party king of Colorado is. But Mark Gerwig is on the show for the first time tonight. Debut.
that's right.
Hey!
Ovation. Long overdue.
Cool.
That's all you got, Mark?
That's all I got. No, Troy, actually, I got Troy here to my shop a couple months ago. I did a little bit of I was trying to put together like a Denver area Joe meetup. And I got a good, I don't know, 12 maybe-ish people. Troy came down.
Look, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
12 isn't
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, for a first, like, people don't like to show up unless you've got like a track record of success. So had to start somewhere.
Look, 12 for a first time out. Speaking from experience, right? I was there in the early days of Johio and the Coil. We'd have killed for 12 at those first couple meetings. So 12 was bad.
Yeah.
Like there was usually 5 or 6 of us, and then like a good meeting would have 12 to 15. So yeah, no, 12 is that's Denver showing up for you, man.
Yeah.
Toy collectors are not the most sociable people by and large.
Mm-mm.
A lot of times it was just Mike, Gary, and a noted author. And then look out, ladies.
Well, no, it was usually a few more than that. If you brought some warmer than room temperature beer, James Kavanaugh was on hand.
Oh, nice.
Not room temperature. It's got to be a little warmer than room temperature.
That's not unsettling in the least.
Look, man, it was not good beer, so whatever. Making
At warmer than room temperature, no beer's good beer.
I'm just saying that making it cold wasn't going to make it taste any better. So whatever, James. If it's coming out of your trunk, it's just coming out of your trunk. Great. But Sean Russell notes that there's too much Mark on his in his podcast.
No
His
such
TV
thing.
is shaking.
Now, you are legit marking out tonight. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where's Pennington? Where's Pennington? Get him. Get him.
Giving the generic greeting, "Hi, Mark."
Yeah.
I mean, when you figure that I've had several jobs. Most of my jobs start out where the first couple days at work I am called Mark, so I'm kind of an honorary Mark. I don't know what's so difficult about Mike, but nobody seems to want to call me that, at least until a week or so has gone by.
I have a younger brother named Mike, so I grew up being called both names.
Right.
I have an older brother named Mike.
Yeah.
This is like,
right. Your parents start yelling because something's wrong, and they just start throwing names out there.
Right. That's
They don't even have to be similar.
No, they always started with me.
That's a different territory.
Always.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. Like that's. I mean, I've been called Rob enough times that it doesn't. It's different when it happens at home versus like school or something. If it happened at school, I was usually thinking it was like my next thought was this is going to be a long school year. Anyways, Rachel Salinas has a quick question before we get started there, Mark Gerwig.
Oh.
What made it into the display cabinet?
Well, not a lot. Hold on. Let me flip on the top
Oh,
layer.
sorry, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, it's I got a small collection of Masterpiece Transformers. So that's Optimus, Megatron, Skywarp peeking up in jet mode, Trailbreaker in the back, and Wind Charger, who was always my favorite of the little mini bots. He's over there on the left. And if you're about to say they haven't made a Masterpiece Wind Charger yet, no, they haven't.
Is that the legitimate Masterpiece Trailbreaker?
Yeah.
Is he good?
Yeah, it's really good. I hate to put something on your Christmas list, but I know he's your guy, and he's pretty damn good.
He was my first guy. He was.
Oh, I thought he was your favorite. Oh, no, you're a Sideswipe guy.
I'm a Sideswipe guy. I already have Masterpiece Sideswipe, so.
And he's slick.
Yeah,
I have a couple more, but they're all, I've been working on that basement. So there's a Sideswipe, there's a Silver Streak / Blue Streak, there's a Prowl. I think that's it. But yeah, we're making moves up there. I want to try to get. I'm not going to go nuts because they are expensive, but I want to get the year one. guys on both sides. So I got some work to do.
Okay.
So there you go. That's what's in the cabinet. But the lights were washing me out. So we're keeping it mysterious.
Right. The display cabinet light for Mark is so bright that astute viewers from 2 weeks ago were able to see clear through Mark's skin and see his skeleton beneath. So it's not a great look for us.
There's trouble between the third and fourth vertebrae brewing.
Right. I've got one adamantium rib, and I was trying to keep that quiet, but
of all things,
Mark, you've got
it's a worse superpower.
Display cabinet yourself back there, a bunch of shelves at any rate. You got a ton of classified going on. What else you got going back there?
Right, and then let's see. This side's the Action Force side. That's the first toy line I got to actually, do some sculpting for. So, and it's pretty near and dear to my heart. And then a lot of random stuff kind of down the middle. But yeah, the classified got to keep it safe, got to keep it clean. Someday,
right. I do like the bookshelf look is cool. If you have a bunch and you can line them up, that's pretty slick.
Yeah, it was. It's floor to ceiling, and until recently, I was able to actually keep all the numbers sequential, but I ran out of room, so some of the larger ones like this had to flip up, and oh well.
Where's 29? I'm looking for 29 on the top.
20. Well, what's 29?
I don't know.
Is it 29? Was that?
No, it's this. This is 29.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
I was angling. I thought maybe it was Slaughter's Marauders Barbecue.
No.
Because if you happen to have that hole in your collection, I know a guy.
It's pretty close to being regular barbecue, but not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that would Slaughter's Marauders Barbecue is somewhere in the 60s, isn't it? I don't know.
I'm trying to sell them on eBay as the complete set of G.I. Joe classified Slaughter's Marauders. It's one guy. We'll get more. They've got better repaints to do right now. So
I know one was Roadblock, and that's about where the numbers drift off for me. Everything is still filed in how they were released in 1982, 1983, et cetera, so
Rob may be the only one here who has his open, right?
Yeah,
got a good chunk of them. Yeah,
you're talking about your Roadblock or your barbecue?
Either one. I've got them both open. So
I mean, both of mine are open. They just had to go back in the box because there's nowhere to put them.
And right, and that's kind of what I was. Usually, I have two, so I can open one. But the early stuff that I only had one of, most of those got opened, and then they go back into the box for safety.
We're getting.
I didn't open mine, but then about a year ago, I started opening all of them and putting in stuff like this, and then returning them to Walmart for full price. It's a great game. I call it collecting evolved. Much more affordable.
So someone's going to take you seriously,
right?
Someone should have thought of that.
They did. That's why they're not doing it anymore.
So what do you say now that we've burned enough perfectly good time? Let's get your community calendar.
Here we go.
I gotta say, that chicken nugget does a lot of retreating.
I mean, that's a C-Nug.
Community calendar.
Before I buy it, jam!
C-Nug.
Get back on that. How the hell is my beer there?
Yeah, I'll take it.
The one where Mark gets taken out by Staff Sergeant C-Nug, that's a win.
Dude, I like that there's a faint echo of my brutal at the very end. That's phenomenal.
It's good times. There's a whole slew more of those that are on deck. You guys understand that there is a whole
Oh boy.
there's a catalog that no one has seen yet. But
Oh boy.
for reasons, but that's okay because it means we get to relive some of the classics now for a couple of weeks until we get everything settled in that regard. But yeah, there's a whole bunch more coming. Oh, I love them all. The one where I'm screaming for like 15 seconds is unsettling, but besides that, I love them.
That's the unsettling one.
That's the unsettling one.
Extremely unsettling.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
But anyways, no, they're all weird ones, but like it's one thing to just see yourself doing that for it. Yeah. It's one thing getting beaten up by a crudely animated chicken nugget, Mark. It's something else to anyways.
All your foibles laid bare.
Speaking of bare foibles,
First up on the old calendar, it's Toyman. This coming weekend, this Sunday. Can you contain the excitement? No, you can't.
Get your hugging ready.
Taking place at the Machinist Hall in Bridgeton, Missouri, from 9 to 2, $5 admission. $15 gets you in an hour early. Get all the details at toymanshow.com or find them on Facebook. It's where big kids go to play.
and where bigger kids go to hug.
Right.
That's right.
It's right. You will save $0 on admission if you find Toy World Order's Dave Draper and hug him and tell him what's on Joe Mine sent you.
I'm just waiting for the angry emails.
While you're hugging him, make sure to say right in his ear that you are TWO for life. I love it.
I actually I chatted a little bit with Draper this past week, and I made no mention of that. So
Oh,
we'll see if anybody actually finds him out St. Louis way. We know he's not watching because he'd have probably complained to me by now for telling people to hunt him down and hug him.
Yeah.
which would just make us do it more.
Digital Diarrhea asks, free parking? Yes, and an abundance of it.
You betcha.
So that I've seen that place jammed, and there's still parking.
It's gonna be jammed.
Right, it shares a lot with the Target, so there's loads of overflow. But yeah, Matt Rubin says AbsorbVids has been busy. AbsorbVids, it gets wild. Yes, it does. I haven't watched all of them yet, even so. I'm selling it sight unseen, but like we're escalating past Mark getting beaten up by a chicken nugget. So
That's a lot of trust, man.
it is. It
Right?
really is. I've seen a few of them that I have not shown off to everybody yet, but yeah, there's definitely going to be a community calendar super play at some point because we'll have 15 minutes worth of community calendar intros.
We'll have a narrative.
Right. but yes, if you're anywhere close to St. Louis, get yourself into Toy Man. It's like having a museum with exhibits that are on sale for you 7 or 8 times a year. You're missing out if you're not getting to Toy Man. Then, of course, Dragon Con is the following weekend, Labor Day weekend. It's going to be taking up the bulk of downtown Atlanta from August 31st through September 4th. Guests include Joe Colton.
Oh,
And far too many other people to list. You get all the information you need at dragoncon.org. I'm going to guess if you're heading to this thing, you've already made your plans. So, yeah, I don't know if day passes are available or even if they're a good idea. But heck, get yourself over to dragoncon.org and find out from them.
hit the freeway to Atlanta now because it'll be jammed.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes without saying. And I will throw a reminder out there that if folks don't send us stuff for community calendar gets really short.
Mhm.
And that's what happened this week.
Mm.
So yeah, if you got a show that you want to plug, remember, hit us up at whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. And we'll do our best to get it in there. We do a pretty good job of it, I think. We don't miss too often.
Mm-mm.
Mark, we got your Denver meetup in there last couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
I think we had Troy on when we did it. Yeah.
Get to my my Big 12, right?
Right?
I mean, like 11 if you count me, right?
Well, no,
You were there. You get to count.
yeah, you're there. You ate pizza, so you count.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're gonna take credit for that though, because that's the kind of shameless whores we are.
Excellent.
If we don't get any community calendar submissions, are we just going to run some absorb vids, intros and outro bumpers for like 10 minutes?
I don't know about 10 minutes, but we'll certainly get more than 2 of them in.
If I guarantee you, if we run more than 2 minutes of them consecutively, when we come back, somebody is going to have a shirt off and a handprint on their chest and is going to scream, "The weatherman is dead!" and the band of the hand will rule. I don't like where this is going.
Community calendar. The 4 or 5. Damn! She knows. It's that time. I'm Joe Michael. I'm your host, my dear Aaron.
Hope to never experience that again.
Oh,
Wow, that was
I didn't like that one bit.
Yeah.
that looks like that looked like the type of thing that a horror movie like The Ring might be based on.
Mhm. Right?
That's one that I am confident that when Joe Colton returns, she will see that one. She will immediately teleport from her window, appear in mine, and begin to kick my ass.
Right.
I promise you.
And I will just be barricading my door.
She'll just crawl out of the ring, out of the screen, all black and white, right? Hair down in front of her face. It's gonna be great.
Rob, you'll be blameless. You don't have anything to worry about. But I am the one that
just in case the rage just overtakes him.
I don't know why she sent me the foot photo. It was not asked for. But she was trying to make a point about something. But I am the one who put it on the show. So that one is on me.
You're not known for soliciting foot photography online, are you? That's not a thing.
No.
Okay.
No. God, no. I don't want anything to do with my feet. You think I want anything to do with anybody else's feet? Good.
It just bothers me that it's creeped out hundreds of people watching our show over the years, but there's been at least one guy who was like, "Ooh."
Right.
And I'm really, really angry that we enabled that on accident.
Phil Donnelly.
I guarantee you there's two or three who saw the CNUG and did the same thing. Ooh.
Right.
I feel a little bit better about that.
Phil Donnelly has called the justice. Absorbents must be stopped.
I don't think so.
Jake Rose notes that it's terrific.
Right.
The worst ones are my favorite ones.
Oh, we got a message from Absorb Vids down there.
Oh no. Yeah, he survived the monsoon and an earthquake, but now he's done.
You are. Look, Los Angeles got hit with a hurricane and an earthquake, and Phil went to Disneyland. He's not afraid.
Mm-mm. The soggiest place on earth.
Right. Phil had to get kicked out of Disneyland. That's how bad that is.
I heard the hurricane put out the fire on the Dragon Head, though, so that's a good thing. That's good plan by Walt.
Right. Phil figures it was only a matter of time. I mean, really, if you're going to be the permanent sub,
yeah,
you got to, like, they're going to start working you into some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Mark, just a warning: if this goes well tonight, you may find yourself,
Yeah, absorb vided.
Right. You can shake your head all you want, Mark, but really, this is all about where you want to take it, frankly.
Yeah. Try not to stay in one place so he can't get a good screenshot.
Yeah.
Lots of bob and weave.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that would be a first for sure. I have not been molested by a CNUG or anything even close to that.
I believe I was molested. I think I was just abused. There's a difference, I think.
Show us on the CNUG where the bad man touched you.
Right?
Hey, you think we can get a plug the damn show jingle? Plug the damn show. Plug the damn show. Plug the damn show. Plug the damn show.
on. That's like ethereal.
Like it had the ultimate.
Who was the woman that popped up?
Dolly,
Parton.
wasn't it?
That
Yeah.
was Dolly?
Dolly
Yeah.
from 40 years ago.
The
Yeah.
70s? Yeah.
Yeah, begging your pardon. But we saw the Ultimate Warrior's back. That's good.
Mhm.
Some of his best promo work was right there.
Right. Well, I mean, that was what, WrestleMania 7? Did he team up with Savage?
I forget. Wasn't that where he fought Savage? Wasn't that the retirement match?
No, because they were dressed similarly.
Oh, that's right. Because Savage was in. Well, he
Yeah.
was back for 8. 8, he fought Flair.
Yeah, they were a tag team for a short while. I think that was when Hogan was busy with Sarge. So
Right, the Mega Maniacs, perhaps something
Yes.
awful.
I believe so.
No, that was with Hogan. Whatever.
No, with Hogan.
Ultimate Maniacs, yeah.
Hogan was the Mega Powers.
Oh, the Mega Powers with Hogan.
Right.
That's right.
So I think the Mega Maniacs was with the Warrior. So yeah, and
The
for the
Ultimate
record,
Maniacs. There you go.
that skateboarder
There.
was Absorbids. That's him. That's him making his show debut right there. It's just not a community calendar
That's pretty slick.
centric one, so we gotta pick a spot for it there. Anyways, if you're still with us, and God knows I'm not sure why you should be. Remember, if you're catching us on Facebook tonight, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a little huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. Catching us on YouTube, like the video. You guys have been kind of slacking off on the likes in recent weeks. You need to remember just to click the little thumbs up thing down there. And of course, subscribe to the channel, which about 30% of you who watch us every week don't do for some reason. I don't get it. Google already knows you're here. They're going to keep sending us into your feed. So you might as well just submit, click the subscribe button. I don't care if you go for notifications or not. We're here every Tuesday, so it's not like you need a whole lot of notifying.
Mhm.
But do all those cool YouTube things for us. Subscribe, share us in your various social media channels. Just do a couple little extra clicks for us. It's a small price to pay for the hours of entertainment we provide
Mhm.
on a weekly basis.
At least 1 hour every week is entertaining.
Right. At least 1 out of the 2+.
Yeah. And not just like it isn't like we just switch on the entertainment, right? We try to salt it in as we go.
Or in most cases, stumble on it randomly.
Right.
Once in a while, I would say we'll have a yogurt show where all the entertainment will be at the bottom. That happens once in a while.
If you're entertaining all the time, then you would just
Where's the suspense in that?
Right?
There was no suspense. You wouldn't tune in. Tim Peterson letting us know that the Mega Maniacs was Hogan and Beefcake. So no wonder we forgot. Goes on to say that Warrior and Savage were the ultimate maniacs. So there we go. So I'm not entirely crazy.
I'll take terrible tag teams for 800, Alex.
Any tag team with Randy Savage is not terrible.
Well, it's half garbage, but okay.
Especially then in his prime.
Yeah.
Savage could carry them both. It doesn't matter. I mean, he carried Warrior to a good IC title match, didn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely, he did.
Well, Savage was great. I'm just saying, put him in a tag team, you're probably watering him down.
Right.
So.
Right. Anyways.
Savage and Poffo
Moving on.
Oh my God.
ruled the ICW area.
It's time for the news.
Doo-doo-doo.
Good Lord.
That was disturbingly quick.
Yeah. Well, again, I did the news buffer, long before Absorbids found us. So nobody's tried to give us a news buffer. So I think I just jinxed it there, but
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
Here comes Hector Ramirez.
No, I like the news buffer. The news buffer's classy. It shows we're getting down to business.
Right. The news buffer kind of goes back to the audio days. We had a big, long, very professional sounding news bit that I used to intentionally fuck up for Gary. So I like that we have a short, professional looking news intro here that we can we can then declass by saying beep 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 all the time later on.
Just in case anybody's out there half listening, the news buffer is like the dog whistle. It's like, hey, here comes the good stuff. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the part that most folks usually tune into before bailing out. But hey, we'll try and break that.
It's like update on Saturday Night Live.
Right. Actually, it's not true. We usually get our peak live viewers in the second hour, and we're talking to our guests. As I realize I made him look like little sweat beads were forming on his forehead.
Oh no!
What am I doing here now? Believe me, Mark, I ask myself that question every week for 12 years. Not every week. There was a couple of years in there where we maybe put out 2 episodes, but what can you do? What can you do?
I know when I listen to your podcast and I'm not watching, it takes me back to like my first job and listening to like Cubs games while washing dishes in the back of some diner. You've just got that perfect voice for it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You get Cubs games in Denver?
No, I grew up outside of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in a cornfield.
With a baseball field? No, that's Iowa.
He's probably getting some Cubs games on the radio in Iowa too.
Makes sense. Wasn't that a AAA for a long time?
It still is, I believe.
Is it Iowa Cubs? Okay. All right, moving on.
Yeah, they even have a single A team in Quad Cities. So
there's a single A team in New York called the Yankees.
let's not get into that.
We don't have enough time. Moving on.
Yeah, it's only a 2-hour program. Not nearly enough time to discuss everything that's wrong there. Anyhow, first news item. Some of your more reputable news outlets were discussing the closure of the Operation Recall Backer Kit. That was us, by the way. But I just confirmed it before we got on the air tonight with Carson himself. They are not closing the Backer Kit in September. So be sure to go over, check that out. Get yourself all duded up with more Operation Recall goodness. They're not going to close that up until after New Year's because all of that money, they're not going to take it until next year because they're not going to be able to spend it until next year. So why pay taxes on money you're not going to collect, right? So yes, rest assured, we are not running out of time on the Operation Recall Backer Kit. But hey, get yourself over to operationrecall.backerkit.com. Check out all the great things going down with this project. I know it's the honcho's favorite out of all the stuff that we've gone through the last couple of years.
Yep.
And that's Kickstarters, Mark. That's not direct sale classified adjacent merchandise. Or his favorite there.
Definitely.
Cover. Anyways, Mark, you're going to say something?
Not my fault.
Okay.
It's usually my line.
I didn't do it.
It wasn't me.
All right.
It's a little bit my fault.
That's fine. It's good to own up to these things.
So, since we're talking, I've been awfully quiet. Since Recall came up naturally.
Yes.
I did want to talk about it a little bit. I was hoping we'd talk about it a little bit. So I'm part of the team. I'm sculpting accessories and stuff, and it's been super. I don't want to say weird. I get these so I get the designs from through Carson, and it's Ron Rudat, it's Mark Pennington, and I had a really rough time. I hit like a mental block. I kind of had built it up in my head so much because it's like I'm getting designs from Ron Rudat and I have to turn them into a thing, and I had a really rough time mentally doing it.
Okay.
It was I sound like a crazy person right now.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's all right.
No,
You're
it's
talking starstruck.
Carson's been very patient with me. So I've got the designs, and no one backed the Kickstarter because I wasn't even a part of it yet, right? Like everyone wants in my head, they want Ron and all these other guys to create this stuff, and I feel it was a lot of pressure for me, and I really kind of hadn't had that before. Like I've sort of from afar looked up to these guys for so long. It was really challenging for me to kind of get into it, and I feel like I'm finally over the hump a little bit, but it's been weird.
No, I like that. It shows the reverence for the line, right? Like,
Yeah,
these guys are G.I. Joe royalty, and that's why I've always been so impressed with what Carson has put together, because he put the band back together pretty much, right? So,
yeah,
Just think of it as now that you have kids, Mark, like you have to take care of Christmas yourself, right? You can't just sit back and let somebody else do that. Like it's on you now.
yeah.
So hey, now designing weapons for O-ring style figures, that's on you. You just can't sit back and let somebody else take that one to the house.
Yeah, like right from the go, Carson and everybody was just like, put your flavor on it, put your spin on it, do what you do. And it was really hard kind of mentally kind of easing into that role. It was like I haven't had that before with any of the other stuff I've done. It's just been very interesting. Very interesting.
Right. You're getting some sympathy in the live chat there. Anthony Romo notes that it's got to be surreal. Matt Rubin, getting to work with and on the same project as your idols can be daunting, no doubt. But Rachel Salinas notes that the band is under new management.
True.
There you go.
Sometimes it helps to picture them in their underwear. Someone told me that.
We'll make sure to pass that on to Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get that done.
Ron's just up the road. I'll go say hi.
There you go. Start demanding his his designs. Make it sound like you're there on Carson's behalf. That way you can get us some news.
I got the only JoeCon I went to, I got to be on the same flights as Ron and Ginny, his wife. And so that was the first time I'd ever met him. And I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's just, riding, around in taxis with him, right? And helping them out a little bit with the travel stuff. So that was surreal. And at the end of it, what did I ask for? I just wanted an auto on the back of a Dusty file card. And he was like, he said, that's kind of weird. I'm like, it's the thing. So there you go.
Yeah. But G.I. Joe in a lot of ways shaped who I grew up to be. Like as a kid, I loved the package art. I loved the designs. I loved all that stuff so much. So I've got this tattoo on my arm. It's ridiculous, but it's a Real American Hero 74, 75. And it was that cover was drawn by Ron Wagner, who goes to the Assembly Required out in Iowa in November. Yep. And I went last year, that was my first time going to that show, and I ended up having a table right next to him. And I was super excited. I was nervous to talk to him. I grew up getting those comic books, and I would draw the covers. I would, that's how I would practice drawing, was I would do these Ron Wagner covers over and over again. And, look at how line thicknesses vary. Look at how they did color. Look at all these different things. And it was, all of G.I. Joe was like that. I used to paint and sculpt and make all this stuff. And it really influenced, my style of art growing up. So it's been very interesting the last year or two where I'm now working on this kind of stuff. So
it's very cool, though. I mean, it's got to be validating on a certain level.
It's kind of, sometimes it's just it's moving so fast. So I, until a year and a half ago, I had a completely different career. And so I really kind of started from scratch just within the last couple of years, getting into 3D design, 3D sculpting, and it's been kind of awesome. I could have got out of the military and got some contractor gig and been miserable, or I could try and make a living doing what I like to do, and like I would have gotten off of work and come home and done what I'm doing now anyway. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds like it, man. It's good. I'm glad you found the success that you have. We'll talk more about what you're doing specifically. I don't want to sound like we're hoarding you into the news segment here. This way we can get.
We're still doing news, aren't we?
Right. We get done with the 3 minutes of news, and then we'll talk more in depth with your background and stuff.
Cool.
But anyways, next news item.
Do.
See, there you go. That's what other show brings you the former head of the brand making silly news segment sounds?
How is this Honcho approved?
It just is.
Cover your ears, darling. Fuck that. Target.
Target is coming up soon. Hasbro's reveal day is Friday, the 15th of September. So I'm sure we will all get to see whatever crummy repaint they're going to get $25 out of it for this time.
Not for me.
But not
Target won't see any of my money.
Not directly anyway. He'll just get somebody else's money.
Yeah, semantic.
And then you'll give them your money. So I guess technically they're kind of getting your money, but whatever. I'm not here to tell you how to take care of your business, Mark.
No, once I return that Slaughter's Marauders barbecue, and I don't have a receipt. You can do that once or twice. I'm actually making money. They're paying me. And you know what? Fool me once. I know that shit ain't going off the shelf, right? So gotcha.
I mean, you know my tendencies in graphic design, Mark. Any chance I have to take a disembodied Honcho head and put it next to a Target logo, I'm going to take it.
Surprised that my head fits on that screen, but okay.
I had to really shrink it down.
Right?
Really just click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, click, drag.
Yeah.
Way down. Way down.
I can't wait for them to cancel everybody's pre-orders on this. It's going to be fantastic.
Right. It's so reduced that it actually looks like you have melanin.
We know that's not true.
How far I had to bring that
yeah.
graphic down. It kind of looks like you've got some skin color.
I am looking pretty good. I mean, look at that white text next to me, right? Clearly.
Well, is it just because
and the earth tone backgrounds are
kind of jaundice?
It could be.
Yeah, Mark is just he lacks melanin. Mark, that's all we can. Most we can. Just genetics.
Can't find it.
Just left it laying around somewhere, and
No. Target canceled my pre-order for the melanin. Bastards.
I know you're joking, but like the pre-order cancel talk is stressing me out.
Yeah. Long story long. Target canceled my pre-orders for the old. Was it Vipers or Cobra Soldiers? I think
it was the Viper.
Was it the Viper?
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I politely pushed it up the chain as far as I could get, and the best they offered me was a $5 off coupon because they were sorry. And I'm like, yeah, you got an option here. You can fulfill the pre-order that I put on your website that you acknowledged, or you can lose me as a customer for life. That's it. And they're like, well, we have $5 for it. I'm like, okay, cool. Send it to me. I'll find somebody that can use it. And that's it. Not a dime at Target ever since.
I didn't even have to raise that much of a stink. I just called in and was like, hey, this got canceled. What's up with that? And they're like, here's $20. Buy one when it comes out.
Nice.
Sure. Why not? So that's why the reaction you got is what befuddles me. It's not even so much that the pre-order got canceled. Sometimes that stuff happens. It happens more often than we'd like with some retailers than others. But just the $5, get out of here.
No, and their insistence that if you had responded to the email we sent asking you if you still wanted that thing you pre-ordered, this wouldn't have happened. And I'm like, I never never got that email. Look for it very closely. So I wasn't being lunatic collector ever. I wasn't being pain in the ass. Well, maybe a little bit, but I was respectful and friendly. And just if they couldn't give me a better answer, I asked to go up the chain. I went as far as they would let me go, and they were unwilling to help me. And I said, you can't treat customers like this and expect them to stay customers. So that was the end of me and Target.
Right. I mean, I took their advice. I took their $20 and bought one when it came on the shelf.
There you go.
I just, again, it was that easy. All I had to do was call and talk to somebody. Anyway, I didn't even make that demand. They just threw it at me.
Yeah. Well, they had leftover money from them sandbagging me.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, here's the Weber money. Just,
yeah.
There you go.
So just to clarify, this is not Honcho approved.
Flip it over to Mark's producer. That'll make it all better.
At least he didn't give you like the Daredevil movie target right on your forehead.
Right?
Ugh.
Matt Rubin ponders that has to be one thing I always wonder about. If I ever met any of the What's on Joe Mind team in real life, how much would you dwarf me? And the answer to that is probably a lot.
Yeah.
We're a large podcast.
Yeah. If I ever went outside, I would cast a big shadow.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all tall. Even Joe Colton's 5'9".
Yeah.
Like she's no shorty. The rest of us, we're all over 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm built large and I'm overweight, so that's not helping things. Rob is tall, but he's a different kind of tall. Like I'm all torso, he's all arms and legs. He's like one of those wavy arm guys out in the front of the used car lot.
He was great in Nope.
Right. And Mark is like 6'3", so we're a big podcast.
Yeah. We're a pretty good offensive line. So
we are the heavyweight champions of G.I. Joe podcasting.
Right. We won the Trios championship.
Well, no, because what's Joe Colton then? Like,
I mean, no offense, Joe. She ain't been here in a while, right? So
on maternity, we can't if we start talking about her like she's gone, then she'll sue us.
Well, no, I mean, if we're doing the Judgment Day thing, she's our Rhea Ripley, and that's no slouch, right?
She'll sue us.
Yeah,
she'll sue us.
Yeah.
Plus, she'll sue Mark Gerwig because it's like, oh, who's this guy coming in trying to take my spot?
Mm-hmm. She'll
sue Donnelly. He won't get to go to Disneyland anymore. It's terrible. So you gotta hedge that talk a little bit there, Weber.
Hey, Mama's got a new mouth to feed, right? She needs that dough.
That's right. I mean, you'd think that
got to keep that kid C-nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's smart enough to know you can't get blood out of a turnip, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have people who'd try.
Right, she can still squeeze. I can't wait until little Miss Colton is old enough for Wes to sneak her C-nugs when Mom isn't around, right?
That probably has already happened.
You think she's eating C-nugs already? Holy
shit.
No doubt. No doubt that child is advanced. I'm going to guess she's already at least reading.
Probably.
She's 2 months old now, at least reading. Anyways. So Fall Geek Out, Hasbro's drops come September 15th. Honcho approved, but not really. Fun with graphics, definitely.
Honcho-rific.
You have your fun where you can.
You've gone Honcho overboard this time.
Next news item.
Do.
Hey, we actually did have some news. 3-0 started broadcasting its 1/6 Cobra Commander pre-order. If you go to 3-0's website, there's no ability to pre-order it yet, so we're going to presume that that's $149.99 like all the others. It is expected, listed first quarter of next year. Includes a snake scepter, his pistol with holster, dagger with a sheath, 2 sets of extra hands, and a cloth uniform with cape. He looks pretty sharp. Order that at 30.com, I would guess sometime soon. Like I said, if you're on the 3-0 website today, there doesn't seem the ability to get that pre-order done, but I'm going to guess that comes up for you pretty soon.
Does he come with 2 pistols?
He's looks like he's just got the one. He's just got the one pistol. He's got a knife and he's got the scepter.
I mean, it looks great. All of their stuff usually does, but where's the hairdryer? How do you make this without the hairdryer?
Yeah. Maybe it's more a comic book themed Cobra Commander. You know?
I'm not saying replace one of these things. I'm just saying it wouldn't cost much to have his iconic weapon with him.
They were always wandering around with Lugers and Mausers and stuff in the comic book. So it looks like that's more the motif they're going with. Mark Gerwig, you in on this stuff?
The 3-0. I'm teetering on the fence. It looks fantastic, but I feel like it's going to be a rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's really that's my feeling on most of these too. They look great, but if I do more than get after maybe the one guy that I'm in for, or the 2 guys that I'm in for, it's just going to lead to financial ruin.
So Beachhead and Tracker, and that's about it for you?
Right. Trackers.
Oh, yeah, Tracker all the way.
Tracker.
Figure.
You know, somebody's got to fight Interrogator.
So hard to figure you out, Mike. Loves Tracker, hates Cyclops. What's up with that?
I don't hate Cyclops. Cyclops just sucks.
Ugh. We went to the arcade this Sunday, me and the kids and a friend, one of Elizabeth's friends, found the old side-scrolling 5-player X-Men game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby, I pop on Cyclops. Yeah, his attack button was broken. So all he could do was jump and optic blast 3 times and then die. Of course, it was free play Sunday, so you could just come right back. But gotta tell you, it was kind of rough to shoot 3 optic blasts and then die to recharge your power. It kind of sucked.
Not surprisingly, his wine button was working just fine.
Right? There was a Spider-Man game like that I'd never seen before, where you could be like Spider-Man. Was like Spider-Man, Black Cat, Submariner, and some other guy? And Hawkeye. It was the weirdest team.
I've never seen that game, so I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, it was so weird.
I remember there was that Captain America the Avengers that had Hawkeye.
No, this was a legit. It was Spider-Man was all over the cabinet, but it was Spider-Man, I think Black Cat, but definitely Submariner and Hawkeye. Because they just looked like the weirdest crew walking around. Submariner, this little green Speedos, right? Just like bebopping down the street, no big deal.
His flat head.
Yeah, with his wings.
Throw a couple issues of Marvel Team Up together, and then you get your video game.
That was a bad looking game, man. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen that one, so
I'll take a picture next time. It was frightening.
I would play that game if it was a Spider-Man multiverse game, just to bother you.
So many Spider-Man. How would they fit all those joysticks on one cabinet, though?
Right.
Come on.
Mark, you have any superhero shade to get in while we're on the topic?
No, I remember spending a lot of time playing the 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was a game. Holy cow.
I was all about that Ninja Turtles game. To this day, I don't really care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that game was a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty busy on Sunday. They had Turtles in Time and pretty packed. Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Next news item. Oh, double click. Sorry. Somewhere there we go. 3-0 also threw up one for Destro, and that pre-order is working. So I can confirm that's $149.99. Also expected first quarter next year. He's got a briefcase that opens and holds stuff. He's got 2 pistols. He's got a wrist launcher with rockets. He's got 3 sets of extra hands. He's got a cool cloth uniform with a free swinging pendant, because that's the kind of disco Destro he is.
Mm-hmm.
Also looking pretty badass. I like Cobra Commander a little better, but this guy isn't bad at all. Again, way out of my price league. But cool stuff if you're into the real high-end G.I. Joe collectibles.
It's also available on the Pulse.
Yes.
And there were a couple comments a while back saying that Cobra Commander's up on Big Bad Toy Store.
Okay, great. Like they're on the 3-0 site. They're listed. You know, they've got links to a bunch of other places. His Tank had links to bunch of other places. I tried a couple of them. None of them are working. So whatever. But hey, we'll get there. Again, I only got so much time. So whatever. Diana Davis notes he's buff as all get out. Well, he's Destro, damn it. He's got that.
He's got a disco collar to pop.
Hey,
They brought the collar up his chest a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
You know why? Because no, I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy.
I got to contain his ancient Scottish muscles.
Right? He might pad his jacket. We'd never know.
Right.
But if I could be serious for a second, how good do both of these look without that goddamn chest cut going right across the torso?
Well, it might, Mark. It's just covered up by clothing.
That's true. I do like that they finally gave Destro the sexy Lady J centered zipper.
Right.
So you can have him looking coy and going, ooh. One of those extra pair of hands should be like a pinch. So you can
get the zipper on it. Hello, sailor.
Right. My dear Baroness.
Hey, man, more power to him.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's where the double click happened. It was Cobra Commander. Anyways, next news item.
Do.
There we go. Some new stuff hit the rack last week. Nobody knew about it. It's from a company called Diecast Galaxy. But they got vamps and stingers out there. Approximately 1/26th scale. $7.99 a piece, as you can see on the display piece. Available now at lots of different places. Lots of sightings for this all over the joint. Drugstores, hardware stores, all those places where you don't necessarily expect to find toys. But there you have it. You'll find them apparently on racks with all kinds of other vehicles, so you may have to look a little bit. But anywhere this Diecast Galaxy thing is, you're bound to find some vamps and some stingers. So kind of cool.
It's very cool.
I guess. Jada Toys had all that stuff last year. It was essentially the same thing.
Is it the same scale?
Thereabouts, pretty close.
They look.
I don't know. The Jada ones are tiny.
Say again, Mark?
No, I have the Jada stuff sitting right here. It looks exactly like the Jada stuff.
Yeah.
Was this released by Black Major?
Maybe. Who knows? But Matt Rubin asks, "I've seen pictures of this. Are they official?"
Says
You know
fully licensed.
Right. You know what we know, so I'm going to guess things are on the up and up. Hasbro's pretty litigious about this sort of thing, so I wouldn't think you'd want to necessarily, taunt the billion-dollar company with stuff like this. But
unless you're headquartered in China, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. I was so excited when I was new at Hasbro, and I'd find third-party stuff and run it up to legal with all the documentation on where to find it and what they're selling it as. And they were like, "Yeah, that looks like it's going to be hard." Okay.
love it.
And I was doe-eyed optimist, man. That was the first thing they stomped out of me. Was, yeah, don't bother the legal department with any of that third-party stuff. No, that's probably difficult. Okay.
Jeff Butler asked, "Do these have pullback action?" Says so on the sign. In that case, I definitely want one of each. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know offhand to tell you. So, Firefly says that stinger is more like pull back and poke your eye out. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, kind of. Anyhow, so that's that one. Next news item.
Do.
And that's it. As you can see there, our good friend Chunky Tank Kitty is brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. Mark Gerwig, have you heard of them?
Yeah, I heard about them.
Anyway.
Bunch of punks.
Look at that. The few, the proud.
Right.
This thing's awesome.
But that is our good friend Chunky Tank Kitty. He defends us from all the other cats that have tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's
more than you think.
By your bunch, Mark Gerwig. So there you go.
Yeah. That's my good friend Mr. Mike Kleppinger did that, and he can't be here tonight. Couldn't believe it. I was looking forward to having his support in the chat there, and couldn't make it.
Anyways,
We'll have to send him a homicidal sea nug.
right.
Yeah, get him off my case. Jeez.
We'll print those for next year.
Killer sea nugs.
Hey, that the one that you pulled off of your shelf there, Mark, is that the one with the turret?
You mean like turning, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Did you move the turret on that thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
mine doesn't have a movable turret.
It's Mark II.
I got Mark 1.
I told you the Marks were taking over.
Apparently, I'm going to have to find somebody who went to Joe Fest and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
take their wares.
and then experience the quickening.
Yeah, the MoCat,
The MoCat's awesome.
complete with the Steeler visor.
Yeah, you like Steeler, but you don't like Cyclops. Weird.
Awesome.
Because Steeler doesn't suck.
Steeler's got a tank.
Steeler's visor's a binocular. Cyclops' visor is just so he can, blink. Yeah,
Steeler hooked up with the Baroness.
right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And he's a Steeler fan, so get some more street cred there.
That's what we got for the news. Anyways, we'll be back with more from our good friend Mark Gerwig after a quick word from our friends at Kokomo Toys. Stay with us.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
Be playing along at home. As soon as I hit the Kokomo Toys spot, I saw Mark Gerwig get up from his chair.
Went to grab that.
Okay, good. Okay,
I wanted to take a look.
I hope he doesn't think this is a real long spot.
Yeah, this isn't like the DJ putting on Inagata DeVita and going to the bathroom. It doesn't work like that around here.
Like, oh Jesus, we went to
Lunch break. Cue Alice's restaurant.
We're gonna come back from our break, and our guest is gonna be an empty chair. This is somehow fitting. But
It would be a record, right? We haven't scared off a guest.
Best would have been if I
Hour.
had the chair still spinning when you came.
I think you got to go back to the audio days for us to have run off a guest.
No, I've been wondering very much if the because I saw those pictures earlier in the week, and I've been wondering if like they're legit or if it's BS. And I was just trying to take a look at this and look at the pictures you had up and see if they were in fact the same cast, and I don't think they are. I think they're different. We'll see.
There you go. I mean, if they got that pullback and motorized type action, then they are definitely different, because I know Jada's didn't have that. So
yeah.
So anyways, Mark, you're our special guest tonight again. We probably should have had you on a while ago. You've been doing this for a decent amount of time now. Give us a background. When did you start with this madness that we refer to lovingly as G.I. Joe? Like, what turned you on as a kid, and how did it get you here?
Really, the cartoon when it aired, that instantly hooked me. First episode of the Mass Device thing, like it immediately hooked, and just with it until like most guys, like 7th, 8th grade, I think I was finally like out of the toys a little bit, and had my long period of nothing. 25th anniversary came around, and I wasn't paying attention, so I think my brother got me a Shipwreck figure, and I started kind of slowly coming back in. But I was in the military most of my adult life, and deployed a lot and wasn't online, so I missed a great many things. Like, I didn't know the Collectors Club existed until I think 2 weeks after it ended. I found out it existed. Yeah, and really, so for me, a lot of it was, Classified was coming out. I had started to get into 3D design a bit. I had done some freelance work for some tabletop games, that kind of stuff. And Classified was coming, and I started doing kind of the retro weapons, but at the classified scale. I was just designing that stuff in my free time because it was, it was 2020 and COVID had hit, and that kind of kicked it off and really pulled me back in hard.
I'm going to guess going on your website, it looks like the earliest project was a Modus for Roadblock. So it looks like that little weird magnet gun that he came with ticked you off at least as much as it did the rest of us.
No, so I actually, I don't mind any of the accessories or weapons or anything that anyone has come with, and I acknowledge that they're odd for G.I. Joe. But if you would, you ever play XCOM? There was a game called XCOM.
Loved it.
If you had told me like these are XCOM figures, no problem with any of those energy weapons or any of that stuff.
Right.
Perfectly fine. But I really was doing that stuff as kind of an exercise because I feel like I've got kind of two states. I'm either getting better at what I'm doing or I'm getting worse. It's either I'm practicing or I'm in atrophy. So a lot of like these little small projects are just things I can do to kind of just keep using the software and stay good with it. Like the eel thing, and I don't know if that's why I'm on here now, is because that kind of made some noise earlier this week doing the eel backpacks and the harpoon guns. But that's just like an exercise. Just like when you go to art school and they tell you we're going to do an exercise where we just do line drawings or something. It's just exercises.
Well, thank goodness for all of us that you're not as comfortable with getting worse as we are.
No, I'll tell you what, man. Like if I was on the team that was making classified or really anything like that, and you told me, hey, like you cannot deviate from what was already done. You can't add a part of yourself to it. You can't put your own flavor on it or try something new. Like that'd be awful. That'd be rough. So. Right. They're artists, they're trying different things and that's fine. And some people want the old stuff, and there's guys like me. There's a lot of people out there now that are creating 3D designs and 3D prints and stuff and making that stuff available.
Truly. I mean, I don't mind. Obviously, you're providing a service there for folks who want a certain aesthetic. It bothers me more with the figures when a figure comes out and it's exactly the same as the previous one, just at a larger scale. Like that's more annoying to me than finding gear to match up. Like the gear it really should match up, right? It's just that, yeah, like the figures bother me more when they're exactly the same. I like the figures being a little different and a little updated because I think that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of the original line of G.I. Joe was really kind of like the end of Vietnam. Like that's what that was kind of the aesthetic they were looking at, I think. And it's 2023 or something now. So it should look different.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
But so you got into it there. So you said you were getting into 3D printing and designing some of this stuff. What made you think, hey, I need to do this? I need to go into business for this. I need to do this and make some money.
So really, I'd done just the design stuff. And I look at the stuff I was doing 2019, 2020, and it's like, to my eye, it's awful. Like it's really not good. I was just having fun, and I was, sharing stuff online and, putting the files up for free. And people really kind of got on me to please, pretty please, will you print this stuff and sell it? And I decided kind of as an experiment in small business, I would just kind of pursue it a little bit. And so I got an Etsy store and I started an LLC. I spent, I think, about $500 creating the LLC. At the time I was in Maryland. I had gotten stationed out at Fort Meade. I had been in Colorado. My wife and my kids were gonna finish school, so my wife was gonna move out with the kids once school was done. But because of COVID, the military said no one's moving, so I got stuck in Maryland for 2 years by myself while they stayed here. And so I had that time, But yeah, I opened up an Etsy store, and I figured, if I can just break even in a couple of weeks or a month or so, everything will be fine. And like, I think within like the first day, I sold out of most of the stuff I had, and more than broke even. Like in hours, I broke even. So I was pretty pleased with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad sign right there.
It's not bad. It's weird. I wondered, I'm not doing any kind of big numbers on anything. Like it's so much work doing what I'm doing. Like I'm not doing big numbers. And I always wondered if there was going to be like a cease and desist letter coming my way, and it never happened. But I'm not even capable of doing any kind of big numbers.
So you got stuck on your own for 2 years.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
The thing is, my wife and I were so conditioned to me being gone that it wasn't abrupt. It was kind of like, yeah, we've done this. So it could have been much worse. And I had moved out there and was staying with a friend of mine. And the plan was I would be there just for like a month or two, and then I'd get my own place and my family would come out. And he was cool with just letting me live in his fucking his place for 2 years. So we had a good time though.
Okay. Well, I would hope.
Yeah. We did like a cooking show, and we had fun.
No.
This week, crab cakes. Yep.
Yep.
It's a Maryland thing.
Again.
Yeah, I've got some Old Bay flavored goldfish crackers around here somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
Some Old Bay flavored goldfish. Wow.
I'm not kidding. Like I saw them at Target.
Oh,
and it was like Old Bay. I had to buy them.
Man, I was thrilled the other day. I found pizza ones. I was just like,
Get out with
I am coming back. Give me 1 second.
All right. Fair enough.
Hunger strikes at the weirdest time.
I know.
Right?
We get some Old Bay goldfish.
I think it doesn't.
Just
Look at that.
Nice.
No, we believe you.
Oh yeah.
People.
Yeah, somebody in the chat was surprised, I think. So it's real. It's real, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, Matt Rubin wanted to know, so there you go.
I actually thought I would crush them up and use them to bread fish and do like a fish fry with them. But my kids found the bag and
just start eating them.
They destroyed it before I had the chance.
Putting goldfish around real fish is like reverse cannibalism or something.
Yeah, it seems mildly inappropriate. A little naughty.
Okay. No, I'm
it's
okay.
Culinary inception, and I love it.
No, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I think it would have been good, but I'll never know. Like I can't find them now.
Maybe put Swedish fish around the fish and then cook them.
No.
Now you're talking.
No.
You're talking
Anyway,
right.
Mark, you started out redoing weapons, right?
Yeah.
And now we've kind of moved from that into small vehicles. Like we have it in the thumbnail. We've got that Tiger Force claw that you've got, and the regular claw too, of course. See the Hydro sled.
Playing around with just playing around, having fun.
Like what is your limit in regards to the size of things?
I don't have a limit per se. The limit is how much work am I willing to do. So I have the larger resin printer I have is an Elegoo Jupiter, and it's pretty big, and that's what I print. Like I have an Asp. That's what I did the Hydro sled on. But once we get bigger than those kind of things, we do FDM printing, which is the spool with the filament, and print PLA plus, that kind of stuff. And you guys haven't gone to any of the shows. Hold on.
We don't get out much.
Yeah, so like I did an Optimus Prime.
Oh, wow.
I wanted one I could put a figure actually inside of.
Let me get you the big window here. Hang on.
But
big window. There we go.
Yeah. So that's a classified bat driving. So
which is kind of cannibalism too.
So, I wanted to start doing action figure photography. It seems like a fun thing to kind of do.
Sure.
And so the plan was I was going to redo different comic book covers. And there's an issue, I think it's a 47, I don't remember. And it's Lady J on a silver Mirage being chased by this big red semi truck with a bat driving, and that's
44.
the cover of the thing. 44. So that's why I did this. I was looking at the cover and I'm like, it kind of looks like it could be a Freightliner like Optimus Prime, so I'll just do that. So that's why I made this. And then I did the silver Mirage on classic.
Careful, that thing will fall apart.
I glued it together. So because I do have the sidecar separate. So I made this thing. Pretty proud of it. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And the Lady J figure can't sit on it. Because her legs only come up about 30 degrees. So at some point
And Flint is really upset about that. Let me tell you.
at some point I'll kit bash a Lady J that can actually sit on the thing so I can take my one picture.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just, I'm making stuff for myself. It's a good practice. It's good exercise. And I've been kind of like a hard surface modeler. That's kind of where I've been doing things. So I make stuff for myself, and then if somebody else wants it, like I can make the file available. Some of the stuff though, like this was a lot of work.
Yeah,
this was a lot of work. Like I made rubber tires for it. I made a mold and cast polyurethane rubber so I could have rubber tires. So some stuff, like I'm willing to sell it, but I'm not gonna, like, I know how much time I put into it. So some stuff's kind of real expensive, but then there's little things like the guns and the backpacks, and that's much easier to produce.
What's the functionality on that ferret? Like, what? How much can it do?
So it's like it's pretty close to the original. So the tires,
Oh wow,
rotate, gun could move. So it does all that.
Nice.
That's
That is
incredible.
really great.
And then I did a tiger paw, the Tiger Force version of that. I have that sitting here. I have I did a Python Patrol Asp.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Asp you do have up on your site.
What site are you looking at?
I don't know. I thought maybe, wasn't it on the Etsy site? I don't know. I don't have it up.
I don't think I've ever put the Asp on the Etsy site. So I have the file is available. I have a Patreon, and so the file is available for patrons on the Patreon. But I don't think I've ever. I sold one at Joe Fest. I wasn't trying to sell it, but a guy was willing to pay my ridiculous asking price. So I sold one.
Right. It's like you always have to be prepared to sell something. Even if
I really I bring that kind of stuff to the show to drive traffic to the Patreon, because there's there's just been such a proliferation of 3D printers, and such a rewarding hobby, like to be able to make this stuff yourself, and it's doable. It's doable at home or in your garage, wherever your wife lets you do it. So it's just good fun. But I bring these larger items along just to kind of show like what's possible, and people always they ask, but like that Optimus Prime thing, I made one of those, and it took me weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
because it was FDM, and I used Bondo and filler primer and putty, and I probably spent 40 hours just sanding. It's too much. Like I'm not gonna sell that.
No, not unless you've got a good crew of under minimum wage workers at your disposal.
Yeah, and then this goofy thing. So
Nice.
it's the hydro sled. This was no one's favorite anything ever, But I had it when I was a kid. I remember I got the hydro sled, and my brother got the devilfish, and I kind of felt like I got screwed a little bit on that one.
You got shafted a little bit.
Yeah, it's
And
'cause
then,
you did.
but then I
Yeah.
got the eel, like and then that made it okay, because the eels and the hydro sled kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Or if you've got the box of the hydro sled, the eel and Dr. Mindbender.
Yeah, in the commercial, and he's sitting up on it, like weird.
Right. Is it any big surprise that my mentor doesn't know what the hell he's doing in the field, though? Right? Like,
I mean, really,
Yeah, like why is he on there? Like,
he'd be
really?
riding the ferret side saddle, right, with the legs under the big cannon. That's a mind bender move.
There, yeah. I guess I don't know if they were just like, who's in the current wave? Oh, this guy's not wearing a shirt. He can be in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's not moving off pegs?
he's like a coral diver. He doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah. So have you guys seen the shark that I did?
No.
You don't know what? Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Look at this. We call that a tease in the radio business.
Let me get this spinning. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
He's gonna come back with an Old Bay shark. You watch.
Well, now you're going to be disappointed.
Is it flavored?
Yeah. So this is So I thought this was going to be like an easy one because it's so boxy. And it was a little it was a little challenging. But so the original shark, Deep Six lays like face down in it.
Yeah, because he's embarrassed.
Or even a canopy. In the cartoon and the comics, it always had seats.
Yeah.
And fluctuated between like 2 and 6, depending on what the plot required.
Right.
So I did the 2 seats.
Oh, nice.
My goodness.
And then like front. It's weird figuring out how to orient this to the camera.
Look at that.
It's the award-winning choreography.
So like I watched an episode and Duke was talking to Torpedo on like a little screen there. So I grabbed it like you do. And when I made it, I didn't have a printer large enough to do a clear canopy, so I chromed it out.
No, the chrome looks good.
Eventually, I'll redo it, but I got even the weapons working.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's one that I've been. That file has kind of gotten out there, and a lot of people have been making them at 1/18 scale. So I had different seats, and the calculation for what size to print it at for the 3 3/4 inch. So those seats have a peg for the backpack.
Nice.
You can do that. So a lot of people have done that, and then some folks told me like if you print it at the 1/18 scale and leave the seats out, you can lay a classified figure in it like it's the original. Which seems silly to me, but
right. Why would you want it?
No, that's better. That's the shark we always wanted.
Yeah.
I would think.
Why do that when you can spend 3 weeks printing an even bigger one?
Yeah.
No, and I don't know much about the 3D printing business, but it would seem to me that an insert for a 3 3/4 shark that allowed you to drop seats into the existing Hasbro one that every collector has 4 or 5 of would be gold in the community.
It's too small though.
Yeah, it's not
Way
deep.
too small. Like if you took it's me. If you took one of these guys and sit them in, or even like this,
Yeah,
the canopy won't close if they're sitting up.
but I mean, you just recline them. Couldn't you just recline them like Cap here?
But then you don't have room for 2. You have room for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put one guy driving it legit over
Like
Deep Six taking a nap. Yeah,
I tried,
dude, just like
I
low
tried
ride.
messing around with that as a kid. It's like, yeah.
it's tight. They made that thing as small as they could and still fit that figure inside.
So if crazy collector walks up to you at next year's Joe Fest and says, "Hey, name your price on the shark," what are you selling that thing for?
Like that one?
Yeah, it's like say you got that on your table.
So it depends. If I've made another one that's better than that for myself, then I'm willing to let that go for I don't know, like 350, 400.
There you go.
Not
All right,
bad.
Dude, somebody's paying that. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
that's an easy one. You'd sell that.
Yeah, and like that's another thing too is like I did that a while ago and I can do better than that now.
That's
Like in a bunch of ways. So
we can tell just from saying that your gears started to turn. Like, What can I do to?
No, like I really want a clear canopy on it, and I would have to break that one to remove it.
Right.
So I'll make a new one and then print it better. And like I tried finding a filament that was the right off-white color, and it turned out to be really bad. It wasn't a great print, but I put so much Bondo on it and sanded it so much you can't tell.
Bondo, man.
Yeah.
Fixes everything.
Doesn't get enough credit. It's like duct tape.
Maybe what we need for that 3 3/4 shark is actually a darker cockpit, just to hide the embarrassing deep six taking a nap in there. Right? He could be dead for weeks and nobody would know.
He's in that
Yeah.
he's in that getup too. You wouldn't even smell him.
Yeah.
No, huh?
You just
He's
float up.
hermetically sealed.
Right? You wouldn't notice until he started to get all soupy in there. Anyways,
He's a diver. He's supposed to float, right?
Jeff Butler is imagining shipwreck reclined back in a shark holding handlebars like a chopper.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I'm imagining Eddie Guerrero in it, making it pop like a Cholo mobile. That'd be awesome. Yep.
So, Mark, you got some slides. You brought work. So
I finished them up like 3 minutes before the podcast.
What you still got them in before Mark showed up, so that's good enough.
Right before I dialed in, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's more of a how am I going to remember to say
Get
stuff?
it on screen here. There we go. Oh, hey.
Double clicked again, huh? All right. So what does this say? September 2nd. So myself, Mike Kleppinger, and Artwan are going to do a 3D printing live stream, and we're going to build us a classified scale Manta.
And now, just for the record, that is the cast of the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast.
Well, yeah, we're the admins. So myself and Artwan, well, really even Mike, I had been streaming sort of like how to 3D design using a software, well, a program called Tinkercad, and that was kind of how we met. I was doing very G.I. Joe themed builds, and they were kind of my regulars that would come and talk to me in the chat, and so that evolved into creating a Facebook group, the G.I. Joe 3D printing Facebook group. What we realized was there's actually a lot of people that are doing this stuff in little vacuums and not talking to anyone else about it. And so that became, we thought, a good outlet to kind of get people together and share what they've learned and what they've experienced doing this stuff. And it's I don't, are you guys we've got like 4,000 members now. I don't know everyone that's in it. But it's pretty awesome. Like there are a lot of extremely talented people that are kind of using this as a form of expression, and they're designing and printing and building amazing stuff. So anyone's welcome. You can come. You don't have to be a designer or a printer or even interested. If you want to look at like some amazing custom work that people are doing, you can join the group and just kind of lurk in the shadows, if you will. But you have to answer the membership questions. When you click the join thing, you're going to get asked a couple of questions, nothing personal, but you have to actually answer them to get in the group.
Sure.
Yeah. Got to try and keep out the scammers and the riffraff and the USS Flag t-shirt people. Just try to keep them out.
Okay. So that's that. So we got next slide.
Yeah. So just real quick, if you could go back with this one. So we're going to do the build, and then the file will go up in the group for free. So anyone who wants it can just download it and print it and have their way with it.
Well, if you're gonna
You've got a couple of things like that.
You're gonna make it sound dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course we're gonna sign up.
Putting the man in Manta. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Man TA.
That's marketing right there.
Yeah. Okay. We move on. Sorry.
Oh, you've gone and gotten us sidetracked.
No, I'm just trying to give Absorbids more audio content.
That's right. Get a chicken nugget right.
Okay. And then I was surprised this wasn't in the community calendar because November 3rd and 4th is coming up. So
Right.
assembly required in Des Moines.
It's too far out. I have mentioned it previously, but it's not like I can't have it in every week, or else we just
Sure.
we
Like I
run out.
don't know, everything's so fast now. It's gonna be like next weekend, and I'm gonna be hustling to get stuff ready.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be at assembly required. I went last year. What a fantastic, wonderful show. So last year, Brian and Travis reached out to me about they wanted permission to use one of my old files that I had put online for free, and they wanted to modify it and use it. And like it's old enough that I find that file embarrassing now. And I was like, how about you let me I'll just do the thing you want to do, and you can have it. So that was cool, and that worked out. And so we just had Armor last weekend, and that was the kind of like their online con that started during COVID.
Mhm.
That's been continuing. So I did a couple designs for them for that. And then for the Dreadnought themed assembly required in November, I'm doing something else that's going to be kind of cool. It's kind of awesome. Like I'm pretty excited about it. So that.
Clearly, that's it. You just got 2 slides for me.
There was one more. There should have been one more slide.
There's not one more slide. I can't get to it if that's okay.
Shit. What was the other slide?
I can't see it.
It was okay.
A
So
whale. It was the whale.
Saturday, September 30th, Sunday, October 1st. Locally, there's a toy shop over in Denver on Havana called Monkey Paw Toys, and I'll be there, and I'm doing head scans. So I'm doing custom action figure heads. I started this earlier this year, and I did some at Joe Fest, and I did some more at the Dallas Fort Worth Joe Show, and I'm weeks behind on delivering. but but they're turning out really nice. They're really good. So and like if you can kind of tell, that's me. Little
Let me get you up in the big window again.
Slightly less pink.
So it's like if you and Mark had a kid.
What? You know what we would name that kid?
Mark.
Mark, yeah. Why'd you name him Mark? Because I wanted him to be perfect.
Well, my dad's Mark. That's why I'm Mark too.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Oh man, we're getting layers upon layers.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, it's not just a clever thing. So in the Navy, which I spent most of my life in, that's kind of the designation. Like if you've got a rifle, it's an M16. That's because it's an Army thing. In the Navy, it's marked something like a Mark 19 is a launcher. So Mark and then Mark II, and it's a couple. In my head, it makes sense.
Did you consider naming any children Mark?
I was not given that option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not by either of the mothers of my children.
Fair enough.
They agreed on that.
Stops here.
Well, the trick is you need to, if you're just a great enough father, then they will turn around and they will get Mark Gerwig II as one of their kids.
Ooh.
So it won't be a junior.
No, it would be the third.
Or okay, so Mark Gerwig III. So
yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, Jeff Butler says he was the person who took the photo of Hooded Cobra Commander 788 getting his head scanned by Mark at the Joe show. Fine.
Yep. And yeah, I'm making him a head for a classified Cobra Commander figure.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now I don't want to make the comparison here, but I think it's accurate. This is kind of like the selfie series, if the selfie series looked like the people who ordered them.
Sure. So and let me defend.
I mean that as a total compliment to you.
Because I'm impressed by the selfie series. So like when has that ever been kind of like tried before, right? Like if you talk about like trying something new, being innovative, like that was kind of it. Like the final execution may not be what people were hoping for, but I think it's pretty cool that they did it, you know?
I love the concept, but unless something went catastrophically wrong with the process, if the best way you can advertise it is to have pictures like this,
Yeah.
Right.
So
if you can do it and do it well, you should be able to do like the side-by-side comparison and go, look how good this is.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it might
obviously they've chosen not to market it that way.
I think it might be the crawling before you can walk in terms of that mass retail.
and maybe that's part of it. And I think they explain, I haven't done one, but they explain like, you know, it's, they do the scan with the app. They find the head that's closest to yours, and then they basically inkjet your picture onto it.
Right.
Which is, you know, not a terrible idea. I think if they had done it 10 years ago, it'd be fine. But I think the bar for likeness is so high now because of the extremely high-end scanning that they use on Hollywood actors that we very much recognize.
Right.
Like the bar just isn't there for the way they've executed the selfie series.
Right. It just, everybody looks like they've got the same basic puffy head, just with different.
And I've talked to some people that were really happy with their selfie series, that were blown away by it. But I would also say the majority of the people I've talked to aren't thrilled.
I mean, the people with really puffy heads think it looks
right. Are thrilled. Yeah, they're really digging it.
So I've learned a lot. Like it was an experiment kind of from the go. 2021, I went to Joe Fest about 3 days before Joe Fest. I got a new iPhone that supported an app that did scanning, and it was actually an app meant for dentists, so they could. I don't know how dentistry works, but that's what it was meant for. But it did like a full scan, and it gave you a head. And I just kind of played with it a little bit at Joe Fest, and I scanned a couple of people, and really only one of the scans was usable and good. And it was a guy named Ryan Farnham, or Laser Pants. He's part of that 3POA podcast. He's a super nice guy, but his scan turned out great, and I was able to use that and kind of did my first head. And that got a lot of people interested, and I wasn't really able to do anything about it because I needed to be able to physically have them present to scan them. And at the time, I really wasn't doing a lot of organic sculpting, but I wanted to try. So I took the time. I found a new app that kind of more or less did the job, and I've been practicing with a program called ZBrush. And because when you get I have to completely resculpt eyes. I have to add a lot of detail. It doesn't scan hair well, so I have to resculpt a lot of it. But there's enough of the basic shape and size and proportions that it works. It's a great cheat. What I've learned though, and I had a system in place. Like I practiced. I had that G.I. Joe meetup, and I scanned those guys while they were here so I could practice. Because it's definitely different. Like I practiced on my family, and I know very much what they look like. But when I'm doing someone I don't personally know, and all I have is like a photo and this okay scan to go off of, it's a different animal.
right.
So I needed to practice and get a system down, and I did it. And then I go to Joe Fest, and what I didn't expect at all was how many people did it, but also long hair. There were a lot of dudes with like long past their shoulder hair, and women. I didn't think there'd be any women, but I got like a bunch of them. So long hair doesn't work for the process I created. So that the time I had allotted after the DFW Joe show to kind of knock them all out, I spent reinventing the process to accommodate for long hair. And I'm finally kind of through that, and now I'm in the step where I'm like painting all these things. I have it here. Here's a couple of them.
Oh my God!
So I'm painting these things. And
that new Dracula line is coming along great.
We're sailing past it like so much Colonel Kurtz.
So I have to wear these ridiculous like magnifying glasses so I can do the detail work. And what I've learned is like I can wear them for about an hour and a half tops, and then like I can't focus anymore.
Right.
My eyes are like, fuck this, we're done. Close it up. And so I've been slowly kind of getting through the painting. Like, so it's been a learning process. It's been a lot. And thank you to everyone that is being patient with me. Like they're almost done. They're gonna get out. I'll be doing this again. Last day of September, first day of October. Monkey Paw Toys in Denver, and then I'll do it again at Assembly Required. And there's a real good chance I just never do this again after that.
Sounds like it's something you got to get the kids involved with, man. They got those young eyes, those young, flexible eyes.
No.
And tiny fingers.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't.
Perfect for handling tiny.
Like one pupil is like over here.
Right. No, man, when the screens go away at 7:30, and you put on your goggles and get to work.
You do it right, or you don't get the screens back.
That's it.
Yeah,
we are giving you tips to ensure that there will never be a Mark Gerwig III.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get your pudding if you don't get the heads painted.
If I could enlist any of my family members to help me with this particular job, I would do it. But it's a bit much.
I don't know. I think if you go, Dad, change the Wi-Fi password, put on your goggles.
Phil Donnelly notes that he would point out that Hasbro is pushing an updated selfie series in San Diego. He did it again because they're going to give an exclusive G.I. Joe figure stand with it. Hopefully this turns out better.
I haven't heard that. That's interesting.
We hope so too, because Phil's first selfie series guy doesn't look a whole lot like Phil. Sorry, Phil.
It doesn't look like Biff either, which is
it's got his toned abs.
Oh yeah.
That worked out fine, but it does like the this kind of looks like Phil's puffy cousin. Anyways, so Mark, if somebody's interested, wants to purchase some updated weaponry for their classified figures or their Action Force figures or their whatever 6-inch scale figures you happen to make weapons for, where are they going to go to find you?
You're going to go to the Mark II Design Etsy store. So you go to Etsy, you type in Mark, I think the number 2, and then design as one word, and it should take you to it.
Go ahead and.
Yeah. So, you can find me at, Instagram is Mark II Design, also Mark II Toys, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, Mark II Design and Mark II Toys. So that, so I have this other thing called Mark II Toys. And I wanted to get into actual manufactured stuff. So I created a separate little LLC because I didn't want anyone to think that these weapon sets that I'm doing are, I don't want anyone to think they're 3D printed because that's what I do. So I created a different company, and it was very successful in confusing the hell out of people.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
then we could get behind that.
Yeah. So Mark II Toys, if you are a 1/12 scale customizer, out of the box collector, whatever, I've got weapon sets that are available, and they're injection molded ABS. They're nice. They're good stuff. I'm a big fan of 80s action movies, and I'm trying to have all the favorite weapons from my favorite Schwarzenegger movies available to everyone.
Awesome. Can you make some attachable feet with glass in them like John McCain?
Ooh. Huh.
Maybe
the stand is carpet, and
Right.
you can have toes in the carpet.
That's with your toes, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a pulse rifle, flamethrower, underslung grenade launcher combo. I'm just spitballing here.
Or
Give some duct tape, wrapping it all together. I hear you. I know where you're coming from.
the full Running Man set, complete with a Richard Dawson head.
Ooh, a Richard Dawson head.
Yeah, I'm not quite there. I'm trying to get there. I think I've gotten into the toy industry and doing this hard surface stuff, and at some point, I want to be able to do figures, and that's all going to be ZBrush, and it's time and practice to get to that level. If it was the early 90s and faces could look like whatever the hell, I'd be good to go. But I think, like I was saying before, the bar for how good the sculpting is now, is really high. So I need to just keep practicing a bit before I'm ready to kind of throw my hat into the ring for that kind of sculpting.
Awesome. So remember, head over to Etsy, check out Mark II Design, Mark II Toys, check out all the Mark IIs.
Yeah.
Mark II something. He's got Mark II magazines for all you folks who are looking for. Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm not going to take it home anytime soon. So let's just let it go. Let it drift out there and let everybody else figure that out. Sure. But, so Mark II Design on Etsy. Check out the shop. Check out all the cool stuff. Let us know down below which ones you like the best. Mm-hmm. Let's do a couple of real quick community things because we got some letters in the old mailbag.
Oh,
that looks like a selfie series right there. First
off, Jonathan Morgantini wanted to share this shot here of his selfie series, Snake Eyes. You can follow him at Wreckship_85 on Instagram. So right there, you got photographs you want to share with the community. Sure, we'll put them up there. If you're going to take the time to send it to us, we're going to find a spot for it somewhere on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You need a sidecar for that Ram,
right, or something.
I was thinking it was a repainted Silver Mirage after the sidecar fell off, like a minute after it came out of the box.
But if it was a Silver Mirage, like the front casing would have fallen off the handlebars too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Do you know what I'm talking about with like I make sidecars for the Ram? Have you seen that?
I did see those.
All right. That was a fun, easy project.
I was about to say there's a big honking gun on that sidecar too. That was pretty cool. It's the fun part of the Ram is how the physics on it just wouldn't work. Like if that gun actually fired on the side of a motorcycle, it would blow it around in circles.
Yeah.
I thought you fired the gun to make a tight turn.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
And what I like about the sidecar that you did is the gun on that sidecar does not upset that physics model. Like that, it's big enough where if they start shooting it, it's going to spin the bike.
Yeah.
So, anyways, got a letter in the post sock. Hey, what's on Joe Mind? At the risk of asking a previously answered question, which season of the classic Sunbow cartoon had your favorite opening, excluding the animated movie? For me, it's the second miniseries, 1984's Revenge of Cobra. Starts with a little bit of silence to build tension or maybe pique your interest. Then during the action, many of the scenes smoothly morph and blend into the next scene. Really stands out for me, and that's from Brad Glynn. I agree with that one. I think that one is the best. Unfortunately, it's the one that I've probably seen the least.
That one's my favorite as well.
Yeah, that they really did a good job of spotlighting all the new characters that were showing up in that year's cartoon.
Yeah,
that miniseries. It's the one time that we saw Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fight. Strangely enough, in the Sunbow series, and that was when Storm Shadow's on screen looking all badass, throwing stars around, and Snake Eyes comes and just boots him in the back, flying on the glider. So that's the one time, kids. That's it. So I would pick that one as well. I think it's unanimous. Everybody else is with 1984.
I mean, it also proves that it takes a ninja to fly that glider without breaking it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just from a pure nostalgia play. I was a sucker for the very first one because I was in the second the toys were on the shelf. I was on the comic early, not from Jump, but early because I just hadn't found it on shelves. And Bend, Oregon, we've done the Tim Roberts story before, but that came on at like 3:30, I think. And my bus home was a good 40 minutes just driving. So if I sprinted from my bus stop, I could catch the last half of those episodes. So when they finally came out, I think on either they replayed at a different time or they came out on VHS, it took me forever just to see the first intro. As a diehard Joe fan, I had no other option back then. So that one was always close to my heart.
Cheapest Big Spender wants to know, could a ninja drive the Silver Mirage without breaking it? And the answer is no. No one can drive the Silver Mirage.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Mark II design Silver Mirage.
Yeah. The Silver Mirage is like the Blues Brothers mobile at the end of the movie.
It was such a disappointment because other than the gliders, and that was structural, right? Every other toy they'd made was crazy sturdy, and you could play with pretty rough, and it held together. And then came this balsa wood piece of garbage. It was just rotten.
So I'd like to defend the Silver Mirage real quick. Just having spent some real intimate time with the pieces and how it goes together, I think they just bit off more than they could chew production wise. Like it's a very intricate piece. Like it's very well designed, and just like the final product just doesn't want to stay together. But it's amazing.
I always was under the impression it would have made a great model, but it was a bad toy.
Yeah.
That's and then one more letter. Good evening, Joe team. I just watched the mail call number 5. Wanted to let you know this is a question I've also had and thought the response was fantastic. Thank you for that. I've been hitting the 25th anniversary and more modern 4-inch Joes the last 2 years, but the way you guys and gal talk so lovingly about the vintage O-ring had been getting me interested in the vintage Joes. The only O-rings I have right now are recent releases. These figures have a certain charm to them. This show is why I'm back to collecting G.I. Joe. I was originally looking for a podcast about movie reviews since I just watched the live action movies and your show came up on my search. Okay. There's a shot out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it on Podbean first, then I discovered the TeamStream later on. I wasn't collecting. I enjoyed your talks about the news and characters I sort of remembered. I was born in 82, started playing with the toys in 92 for about 2 years, and dropped off until 2021. Wow. Your passion and knowledge has gotten me back into Joe. I was a Transformers kid originally. Robots. I got into the classified line a little late, but I've been able to procure every figure I've wanted so far, which is about 95% of them. I almost didn't collect classified, but the color change Zartan came back in stock at the Pulse surprisingly one day, and I pulled the trigger and haven't looked back. Your show also brought me back to Kokomo Toys. I hadn't shopped there for a few years due to the pandemic, having small kids with me that I didn't want to take out. Recently picked up a Wolverine and a few smaller vehicles there. My family usually makes the 2.5-hour drive from Elkhart, Indiana, about once a quarter to Kokomo.
Wow.
Yes, my email is all over the place. The point I'm making is I appreciate your show. I appreciate your enthusiasm, knowledge, and integrity with the brand. I've listened to and watched a few other shows, but they aren't the same. That's what we've been telling you.
I think all the other shows are the same. Oh, shoot shot.
Oh, your community is involved and welcoming and usually very positive. It's a great place to be a part of. Keep up the amazing work. I want you guys to know it makes a difference to this collector. This is even better than a Batman the Animated Series podcast. You know, we could probably do a pretty good one of those too.
Right.
Thank you. That's from Ben Kitt. Ben Kitt, thank you.
Wow.
That's not the kind of letter that I can do a mail call episode around. But, you know, if you're going to take the time to write us a big, long, happy email like that, we certainly deserve to give it some time to answer. So thank you for that. We really do appreciate that. It's been, even with our not having a show last week, it's been really rough keeping up with this the last few weeks. So anytime, you know, any recognition for that is really, it's fantastic. It really does help us keep moving this thing going after 12 years, to know that people are actually watching and moved by it still. So that brings us into what we got in. Mark, you're the guest. You got anything fun in the last couple weeks?
Just the eels was the big one for me.
Yeah.
And I got my retro snake eyes.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah, like the eel was a big one for me. Like that was probably top 5 of my childhood was that eel. Like I remember the day I got it. I remember opening the packages. Like that was the big one.
That's very cool. That's the fun part of classified.
It was the one present my parents let us open like Christmas Eve that year.
Also, it was my birthday. That's okay.
Is it really?
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks.
Oh yeah, I'm a early November and I still got screwed.
Oh.
Christmas
I
Eve.
had a couple knocked out by those weird once in a lifetime, you know, Catholic holidays. Like my birthday's in May, and so I had one to get wiped out by a first Holy Communion, and another one to get wiped out by a confirmation, and all that stuff.
Man.
So it's not the same.
I tell you, these kids got no respect.
Oh,
There.
so, but that's I put it up on our Instagram feed, but my retro Snake Eyes came in too, in this receptacle, and it had this weird padding material in there, and it came from Walmart, no less. So I was very, very, very thrown. I expected this to be, drop kicked and chewed up and squished, and what I have is a retro Snake Eyes that is damn near perfect. So watch for that on eBay. Starting bid $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wins that, expect it to be mailed in a padded envelope. But
Yes. if any envelope at all, I might just throw a sticker on that.
Let's Amazon this bad boy
right across the 5-language file card and send it right out to you that way. S. Myers just got his retro Snake Eyes too right after Walmart canceled it and sent him a refund. So okay, all right,
you win.
You can't be.
Walmart canceled all my stuff.
That's a hell of a week.
Yeah.
So yours is looking pretty good too.
Yeah, that's good looking card.
A little bit of up there, but otherwise not bad. And even this guy, not terrible.
No, not terrible. Bad either. It's the card stock is pretty thin, so it's tough to find one that doesn't have any kind of a bend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were crazy anal about it, you could fix that, right? You can get a couple dictionaries and just straighten that bad boy out.
Yeah, wait on it for a couple of years. Yeah,
my $3,000 Snake Eyes has a little bit of a bend to it.
Oh man.
So yeah, Rob's got his Crimson Guard in there.
I got my retro card in Crimson Guard. Snake Eyes is due tomorrow.
You suck. So we'll hold off on the rest of what we got in just because we're running out of time.
That's all I got.
Yeah, Mark, what do you have for shout outs, man? Who do you want to call out for their contributions?
This would be a good place to maybe plug your podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I gotta shout out for Mike Kleppinger and Artwan Poor, my co-host for the G.I. Joe 3D Printing podcast. My ride or dies. Those are my dudes.
Excellent, Mark Weber. Well, you're not next. You got rank. Rack time, Rob. Shout it out.
Hey, thanks to all the studio audience checking in every week. Thanks to Mark for coming in and being our guest tonight.
Thanks to everybody watching you in full recumbence.
Yeah, I'm doing this if my back is in such bad shape that I'd have begged off probably halfway through.
Mark Weber, shout it out.
I mean, there's only 40 weeks of school left, so we'll probably.
Yeah,
we'll
I mean, okay. I should make it through smooth sailing.
Really, you got a crest. It's all downhill.
Yeah.
Which I mean is screaming out of control and likely bound to crash. I have one of my good pals at a former job, which I seem to be collecting. My pal Amy got back in touch with me this week, and she's a sweetheart. And one of my partner in crime, I guess, at my last job. So it was good to hear from her. So it's always good to hear from people that you were buddies with, but maybe haven't heard from in a while. So if you've got a buddy you haven't heard from in a while, reach out to them and say hello. It's awesome.
That all you got?
That's it.
All right. I'll give a shout out again to double up on our studio audience. Thank you for checking us out live. If you're getting us on recording, we appreciate you too. You count just as much. Regardless, if you're catching us on Facebook, again, remember to give us a thumbs up or a heart or a little huggy guy. Just give us some kind of reaction just to keep all the wheels in motion on Facebook. If you're catching us on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all those cool YouTube things. Leave us a comment, share our video and all of your Reddits and Facebook pages and all that other cool stuff. Give a shout out to our good friend Brian, Hooded Cobra Commander 788. Still on sabbatical. We are thinking of you. Get to feeling better soon. Give a shout out to our good friends at Kokomo Toys. our wonderful sponsors. We'll sing the theme song real quick. Kokomo.
Kokomo Toys.
Kokomo
Toys.
Kokomo.
Kokomo.
Can't hear you,
Kokomo
Gerwig.
Toys.
Kokomo Toys.
We didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
I was really hoping for a barbershop quartet moment, and it did not happen.
No, it's what happens when you got two guys singing second tenor.
Yeah. It's true.
Anyways, but and I give a shout out to all of you, regardless how you're catching us, whether it's live or on recording or even audio only. You're the engine that keeps this going. We'll take it as far as you want to let us. Just remember to spread the word, keep things growing for us here at What's on Joe Mind. But that's it. That's all we got. We'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of the TeamStream. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to stay tuned for the upcoming presentation of Night of the Lepus. Night of the Lepus coming up next through 11:05 here on the Superstation. Have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you again soon. Yo, Joe.